Hello there, everybody. How are you all doing today? We actually found some show floor footage, which is great.
Ooh.
A good amount, actually. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, more than I thought we would.
Now I didn't actually really screen any of these. To be fair, if any of them they look good from the tiny bits I did see, but you know, if it ever seems bad or whatever, we'll just skip it.
Yeah.
But I found a few. Right, Turima X uploaded this one. I don't know who Turima is. Maybe he's someone who worked at game dev at some point. I'm not too sure. Or maybe he just runs like a website or something, because it says like check out more photo coverage in Booth Babes at. And I'm not clicking that link because I don't want to go anywhere. But if you
Yeah.
want to see this, feel free to check him out. I'd be curious to check out more. Looks like he's like a game journalist, which is cool. Especially if he's getting us show floor footage, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Megan, are you ready?
I am.
Oh, it's the Tony Hawk ride. Nice.
I was saying I couldn't tell why he was moving like that for a minute, and then I realized, oh, he's on the board.
I do appreciate how they have a guy there like demoing it and telling you like how to use it.
Yeah.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom. See, I've heard of this one. I don't know really anything about it, but I've heard of it. One of my friends, Tots, would probably know a little bit more than me, just because I don't really do fighting games. He's the fighting game guy. I turn down just a little smidge more. And I'll turn it back up, whatever. It's fine. Can you hear it good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, good. Uncharted 2. Multiplayer. Oh, this is the multiplayer demo that they have. That's right. They said they had that.
Yeah. See, I never really played a lot of the multiplayer, but I know there's some people who really liked it.
King of Fighters 12.
The panda bear in the background is kind of creepy. I don't like it.
I mean, a little bit. He's having a time.
Yeah, so is the guy behind him.
Yeah, right. So I don't know one thing about Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, I've never heard of this one.
I mean, it's neat that someone else tried, like, you know, a fighting game.
Yeah.
Darksiders. I actually watched you play this one. Some of it. I didn't watch all of it, actually. Because, like, I think you're in the middle of playing it when... I think when we started dating and you're like, oh, I'm playing Darksiders. You want to watch? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was one of the first games I think I kind of streamed for you. I played it... Gosh, I guess at this point it would have been about 4 years ago.
Possibly.
But, I don't think I was too far in the game. I think when you joined, I was like maybe an hour or so in. So you watched the majority of the game.
I mean, to be fair, I may have also been doing some stuff on the side a little bit at the time. I don't quite remember. I know I don't remember the game as much.
I mean, that's fair. Because we did kind of start Darksiders 2 as well. I just didn't really get too far into that. And at this point, I'm probably going to start it over.
I mean, understandable if you do.
EA Sports and Wii. Yeah, because this is Sam Fisher. This is what you want to be doing to Sam Fisher.
Yeah, right? Like, it's... I don't know. I do think the direction... see, from a character perspective, it does make sense, but it's just a bit strange for Splinter Cell, right? In my opinion.
I mean, yeah, from what I know about Splinter Cell, like, it's like they tried to turn him into Max Payne.
Yeah. I think that's even what I said during the conference, I think, right?
I mean, I believe so. I don't know. They want him to be a badass, like, protagonist that, like, takes names. But I don't know, from what I know of Splinter Cell, it doesn't really seem to make sense for his character. But I also have
Yeah.
never played any of the games. Oh, see, I like how they have, like, the triple monitor set up for this.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
Final Fantasy
13.
13.
So I don't actually know much about 13. So this is
I don't know.
interesting
Fun,
gameplay for me.
Yeah, I'll admit I watched my brother play some, but I don't remember him doing anything like that. But I did watch him probably like 10 hours into the game. Just a huge display. Nice. Imagine. Okay, so it was here. They just didn't show it during the conference.
See, we didn't see any speed shift either. Now, once again, some of these could have been shown on the side conferences.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, sorry if anybody wants us to do that. I don't... Like I say, apart from some, I don't really know if it's going to happen. But that's for two reasons. One, because I don't know how many people upload those. And plus, it just adds a whole lot of extra, like, time to do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we'll see for some.
It's been fun, but yeah, admittedly, like, when I remember watching it casually, I remember a lot of EA and a lot of Ubisoft conferences in particular just being very boring.
Yeah.
So, like, as much as I would like to go and see some of their games and stuff, frankly, between all the years we have to do, we probably just don't have time.
Yeah, I was concerned making up just a slight bit for me, because she sounds a little quiet for me. Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
No idea what was going on. I don't know. Megan was telling me she was projecting, and I got to thinking, because she has automatic gain control on, as I do. Maybe it was actually turning down her gain, because it thought she was too loud.
Yeah, like,
I don't know.
You always just tell me that I'm too quiet when I speak, especially when we're testing mics and stuff. So I don't know, maybe because we were doing some of that yesterday with your changes and everything. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to try and project more so they can hear my voice more. But it seems, ironically enough, that Discord might actually be sabotaging me.
Maybe.
So, I mean, I guess we'll see. I'll try to speak in a more normal voice that I do. Hopefully, it's loud enough and everything.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, that's just my guess. Because, like, I'm not even saying you're sounding quiet on OBS, but you were just sounding quiet to me, which is weird, because we were literally watching anime earlier, and you sounded perfectly normal throughout all of it.
Yeah.
So that's why it was, like, striking me as really weird, because I'm like, that doesn't really make any sense. If, you know, I was hearing her perfectly normal, and now just all of a sudden she's, like, a bit getting quiet, right?
Yeah.
All right, anyway, shall we continue?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, and to be fair, every time I've been like, oh, Megan, you're too quiet, OBS tells me you're actually fine. So, like, ignore me whenever I tell you that, to be honest with you. I'm usually in the wrong, and OBS is lying to me, as usual. So, yeah, Bayonetta, really good game. Really want to get you to play it one day. Probably will replay it again myself somewhat soon. Especially since I can actually finally play Bayonetta 2. And I think 3, because I think there's a third one. Yay!
Yes,
right?
The third one came out a couple years ago now.
Yeah. So, you know, that would be fun.
I do find it interesting that they had Rock Band the Beatles, but then they also had Guitar Hero Van Halen.
Yeah, I wonder why. I find it kind of interesting. Well, I guess Guitar Hero, the series, did kind of start that.
Yeah.
Because, like, didn't they have, like, Metallica?
Yeah, I think Metallica was one of the first ones.
Or Nirvana. Was it Metallica? It was Metallica, right?
I think it was Metallica.
I think they did a Nirvana one later, but I don't quite remember. Lost Planet 2. You know, Lost Planet is another one of those series that everybody just forgot about.
Yeah, I did.
I
never played it, admittedly.
Let's see, because I remember Lost Planet 1 and everybody going like, oh my god, it's so amazing, and it was really good. But, I don't know, everybody just kind of forgot about Lost Planet. Probably because the sequels are bad. That would probably be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, that would happen with a lot of franchises, but especially ones at like this time. You know, you could have a couple good games, but if you have a couple like really bad games before your series goes under, people are just gonna forget about you.
Yeah.
Especially with so much competition. Oh no, Mario!
Yep.
Split second. See, I thought this was gonna be Blur for a second, but I think Blur kind of already came out.
I think Blur already came out.
Honestly, this kind of looks very similar to Blur. I wonder if they were trying to copy them a little bit.
I love DJ Hero, by the way. One of my favorite Hero clones.
See, I'd be curious to play it because I've never played it. But yeah.
I'll play it. I got special edition of DJ Hero 2, and I got both games. So.
Well, yeah.
Oh no,
Well,
I got the
let's
special
do it sometime.
edition. I got the special edition of the first one, actually. I think, because I got the gold turnstile.
On the right-hand side, we've got the mixer. Real quick, the turntable platter is full 360 rotate, which allows Jamie not just to scratch the record, but he can also rewind the highway and replay parts of the song that he's either messed up or he's really enjoyed or he just wants to score more points. We've mounted the buttons actually on the turntable itself, so to scratch the record, you hold the button down and move the
It is a
turntable.
really nice controller. Like, I actually really do like the controller for DJ Hero.
Or directional scratch as you get into the harder parts of the
I mean,
game,
it seems very
where you're
unique,
forced to actually follow
especially for a
how the
peripheral.
remix was created
Yeah.
by the DJs. Left-hand side, first thing you see is the crossfader.
But at the same time,
So
it
the
also
crossfader
doesn't
allows
feel
you to
as
move
gimmicky
from
as a
one
lot
track
of the
to
other
the other.
peripherals that came out at this
All
time,
the
where
way
it's
over
like,
to the left,
do you
plays track
really
number
want to
one.
play it this
All
way?
the way over to the right, plays track number 2. When you're in the middle, you're playing both tracks, so you can quickly mix between the music.
Yeah, like, if I ever describe DJ Hero, it's one of those games where it makes you feel really good when you play it. Like, you feel like you're really in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the music's so good, right? Because, like, they're all, like, remixes. I want to say specifically made for the game, right? So it's really, well, good, right? Like, you know, I have a music playlist on YouTube that sometimes I'll just, like, dip into, right? There's some songs from DJ Hero 1 and 2 on that, right? Maybe I'll show them to you sometime.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Alright, so next one on the list is this one from Game Reactor. Yeah, I
The
know.
rabbits.
You're right. So from Game Reactor. So I don't know what this one is exactly. EA E3 had finally found its old form again, and so Benk was once again struggling to find his. I don't know who that is. I don't know if it's Benk or Benki.
I think
but I like.
okay.
See, I want it to be Ben K because then that gives me the Guitar Man vibes with Ben K, the space shark who you have like a really badass robot guitar reggae fight with. It's crazy. I love Guitar Man. Go and look it up, but probably don't buy it because it's really expensive. And emulating it's a pain in the ass. Anyway,
Yeah.
found his way among blue babes, flashing screens, sweaty gamers, and loudspeakers. It's a Game Reactor once again. Link in the description if you want to look at it. So Game Reactor might also be like a journalism website. I've never heard of it myself.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to see more Showfloor stuff though, dude. Like, I can't tell you how much I've actually kind of missed it. You know? It's just so real and raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels a little weird to go through it without having at least some.
Yeah, like I feel like it gives you just such a good look at E3 overall, right?
Plus, there's quite a few games that they show on the show floor that just aren't part of the presentations either.
Yeah, yeah.
The Nintendo booth.
And like, I get that they
We've
can
got
only
new
show
Super
so
Mario
many
Brothers
at
on
once,
Wii
but
being played all over the place. Got Wii Fit Plus. Quite a few.
And plus you can see how many people are on the show floor too, so you can kind of see like the popularity of
This
E3.
is the horror corner.
that's true.
And over here is Wii
Resident Evil and
Sports
Silent Hill. So which ones are we looking at here?
Space, Silent Hill. This is the
Can't see which one that is.
horror corner.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I can't quite read it.
So the only things I could... Well, that's Resident Evil. Oh, so that would be Dark Side Chronicles then.
Mm.
That is also Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles.
And over here is...
If they have a Silent Hill, I don't know if it's Shattered Memories, but it might be.
I mean, it would have come out around this time, I believe.
And I'm telling you right now, I'm so sad I never bought Shattered Memories because that game's actually pretty expensive now. But
Oh,
it's
I thought you would
like,
have had that one.
no, I don't actually have Shattered Memories because I heard it wasn't that good, and I was like, I don't need to play it. Nowadays, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I should have it because it's part of the series, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't have Shattered Memories. I want it though. I want it now, right? But of course, now it's like I think over $100.
Wii Sports Resort
And I'm like, oh,
with the new Wii
What are you
Motion Plus,
looking
of
for it
course.
on, like, on
Legend of
PS2?
Zelda,
oh, it's only on
Smash
Wii.
over
It's a
here.
Wii exclusive.
It's quite a
Oh,
packed
because
booth this
Shadow
year for
Memories is
Nintendo.
showing me on PS2 as well.
Oh,
pretty
that's
certain.
right. That's right. They have a PS2 version, but I think the Wii is how you're supposed to play it.
Okay.
I think. Because
Yeah, the Wii's actually not too bad. Like, it's going complete for $80 on price charting, so that's probably close to $100 Canadian.
Okay. You know what? I'm
The
gonna see if there are
PS2
any
version's
differences.
going for a lot though. It's going for like 380 or something, so it's probably close to $500 Canadian.
Let me see which version's technically better, and then I'll see if I want to spend $300 or not. I guess I had a Vita port. Okay, from the Silent Hill Reddit
Yeah.
5 years ago. Let's see what people say. Oh, this guy makes a good point. Wii version is definitely the best because it is the only version that isn't a port. The game was developed from the ground up for it, so that's actually kind of a good point. They say graphics are better and graphics are downgraded on the PS2 on the PlayStation ports, which is true because if it's on PS2, it's not going to be as good as the Wii in terms of graphics, right? Just funny to say.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good because that's the cheaper one. So, you know.
All right. Well, maybe
Win-win.
next time we go to a local video game store, maybe I'll get it. Maybe. Because yeah, it's really cool. So I guess for any, you know what, fuck it, I'll just say it. If anybody for anybody that doesn't know Shattered Memories, it's basically a remake of the first game, right? But like so as a remake, it's not really that good. If I'm being honest with you, as a standalone Silent Hill game, I think it's probably okay. Maybe because like I don't know, it has like a gimmick to it, which I think is kind of neat. And the gimmick is that the game's ending actually changes depending on a lot of things in the game, right? Because like and you know when you'll probably find this funny actually. You know how in like Until Dawn they have the therapist sessions?
Yeah.
They have that in Shattered Memories as well. And depending on what you do in that, it kind of does affect certain things in the game.
Oh, so they stole that.
Kind of. Because like they have this one cool bit, and I'm not gonna say this is a spoiler, right? But like, because it isn't. But they have like one bit in the therapist thing where he's like, "Here, paint a house for me," and then like you can pick the colors and you paint the house, and then later on in the game you go to a house and it has the colors that you painted on the house.
Oh, see, that's cool.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, oh, that's actually really neat, and it has like a very big like meta thing like with the game and the story and how it all kind of makes sense, right? And I think the monsters technically change depending on some of your actions. Because like I won't call this a spoiler either, because I want to say they mention it, but like the endings in the game are like affected more by what you like look at in the game, if that makes sense. So like if you're looking all around the game and you're looking at a lot of like drinking related things, like you'll get an ending where it's like, oh, you know, your character was just a drunkard or something to that effect, right? Like I'm not gonna say anything specific, but it's like it heavily emphasizes like, oh, you're an alcoholic, aren't you? Or if you look at like a bunch of sexy things in the game, they'll be like, so you're kind of like a womanizer, you're kind of someone who maybe cheated on his wife or something like that, right? Like so it does that kind of thing. But if you like do kind of a mixture of it all, I think like you get the better ending. If that, I don't remember how you get the good ending, to be honest. Maybe there's something else that you kind of need to do, but it's kind of like does that, and I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
And it does like the cool thing actually, where like I think one of the mechanics in the game is like you have a cell phone with you, right? And you can find all these numbers in the game, and you can use the Wii remote to like dial, right? Like so you can like use the Wii remote, dial it, and then like I think you hold it up to your head, and it's like it pretends to be a phone. Whoops, sorry, Charles Martinet, I'm not at you yet, right? So, you know, like, it's kind of neat in that regard. You know what I mean? Like, Shattered Memories is cool. I don't think it's considered a good game, but it has cool stuff to it. So I want Shattered Memories. So I'll
does
probably
sound
get the
pretty
Wii version,
unique, yeah.
Yeah. Like, once again, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, especially for a Wii title of all things.
Yeah, right? It's like, as a remake, legitimately probably not that good. As a Silent Hill game, probably passable.
Booth this year from Nintendo.
Hello to all of my friends at Game Reactor TV. Mamma mia, it's a Mario. You guys, #1. Woohoo!
I wonder how much money Charles Martinet, like, got.
Oh, he
like,
probably
forever.
got some pretty sweet deals from Nintendo.
Cause yeah, like, dude, like, is literally Mario. I kind of wonder if he ever had to do anything else. Cause like it's like, yo, voice Mario characters, then chill, and then come to like our gaming events sometimes, right?
Get their hands on God of War 3.
Yeah,
Like,
I
dude
mean,
probably
as
made a
far
lot of
as I
money.
know, yeah, he
You can
voiced
see
some
Uncharted
Mario
2
characters.
over
Like,
there.
I think he
Behind
does
us is,
Mario and
He does.
at least
2
some of Luigi
multiplayer.
or Waluigi.
I think he
got
does Luigi. I think he does Waluigi.
Got Ratchet and Clank.
Then yeah,
Ocarina of
Mario,
Time.
obviously.
But,
I don't think he does
as
Toad.
you can see, the big focus point is God of War 3 over here. Here's Mag, massive action game. Not quite as long queue to play that, but an exciting title nonetheless.
See, I feel like that's very like telling, right? It's like Meg, not a long queue.
Capcom booth.
It's like, damn, they're probably hoping for a lot more.
Dark Void here. Is he has climbed
I mean,
out of a
probably.
Dark Void.
Like, it's just a cool idea, but it's just too gimmicky. Like, what
We're at
makes
the
it different than
Activision
Call of
booth,
Duty aside from the
and,
number of players? Like,
You can see this big
that's
line
kind of
here.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
unfortunate
basically,
for
right?
us to play
Yeah, speaking of
Modern
which, Call of
Warfare
Duty,
2. Instead,
you
it's
got like a
to,
big
Yeah.
line from Modern
get
Warfare
something
2,
signed by
right?
Stan Lee, who's
I
sitting
mean, this would have been pretty
somewhere over
hype,
there.
especially considering how well the first one
So I
did.
know someone is
Like,
gonna have a sore hand
yeah.
from signing autographs tomorrow. Oh, there's a nurse.
Yo,
over there.
Persona!
Tomorrow.
Which Persona is that? One I haven't played, obviously.
that's
Oh,
the
this is their
PSP remake.
PSP remakes, yeah.
There's a nurse over there.
Yo, Silent Hill 2 nurse. Oh wait, no, it's not the Silent Hill 2 nurse.
She was really
Demon
tall and
Souls. Demon Souls mention.
Nice.
You see it?
Yeah.
there. Demon Souls.
She was really tall and skinny. Got some Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame that the Persona 1 remake never got any ports aside from PSP, because I mean, that's the version that I was playing a while ago, and it's pretty decent. Also, the Old Republic, wow.
Yeah, right. And then you got your boy Ratchet.
That looks like the same Ratchet costume that they use in some of the commercials for the Japanese audience, actually. I remember, like, the really caterpillar eyebrows.
Oh, really? Okay, that's really funny. It probably is the same costume then. They probably like, yo, just bring it here for E3, please. You know?
I mean, probably. Because, yeah, I'll have to show you one of these days, like, when you play more Ratchet games, but the Japanese commercials are very wacky.
Well, I'm intrigued. You have me intrigued. Yeah, it's kind of mentioning the Old Republic as well. I remember seeing the trailer for that when they announced it, and I was like, oh my god, there's more Old Republic. Yay. Oh, it's an MMO. That's kind of cool. And then it came out. I'm like, I don't want to play it. I'm going to wait. Then I heard it was pretty not good, and I'm like, I'm glad I waited. And
See,
then,
I kind of have a
yeah.
funny story about that, too.
Yes, please do share.
Okay, so basically, my brother and I were like really into coders. We were growing up. I played the game quite a few times. He played it a decent amount, maybe not as much as me, because I replayed it probably a good like 10 times or something. But like eventually, this MMO came out, and we're like shopping at Best Buy for Christmas presents. We're kind of like looking around, and he's like, "Hey, I'll buy you a physical copy of Knights of the Old Republic for Christmas." And I'm like, okay. So we took the disc out of the case. He wrapped the empty case. And we played the game for I think about a week before Christmas, and then he gave it to me, and I had to act surprised.
Okay, that's really funny.
And I think I ended up getting him I want to say it was like the PS3 version of like Lego Hobbit or something. But we basically did that too. I think we were gonna play a little bit of that. I don't know if we got around to it, but yeah, I remember playing a decent amount of the Old Republic, and like it was a pretty okay game. He fell out of it pretty quickly. I was decently into it for a while. I just never got to level cap, and then they kind of nerfed the experience as well for like if you're not subscribed when they made it free to play. And I'm like, yeah, and I haven't touched it in quite a few years now.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Like, I heard it was a pretty okay game, but my problem is, you know, I don't know. MMOs at the time just really weren't that great. I'm gonna be honest, right? A lot of them were
Yeah.
very like, if it's not World of Warcraft, why am I playing it, right? And I'm not saying that because I was like a big Warcraft fan. It was just kind of true because you know, like unless it had like a really unique kind of feel to it, right? Like how I liked um Warhammer Age of Reckoning, right? I like that one because it
Yeah.
had a lot of really unique and interesting stuff to it. Um, not a lot of people felt like that apparently, but then again, maybe things got nerfed. I didn't play it until it died, so maybe things like maybe they ran it into the ground. I don't know. But you know, so I like that one. But you know, like I don't know. There's something about the Old Republic where it's kind of like, well, why? Why would I want to play a mediocre MMO? Just because it's the Old Republic, right? And I want more Knights of the Old Republic, right? I wanted that, but I wanted single
Yeah.
player is the problem. You know what I mean? Like I want the story to continue because you know I'm not gonna lie. Second game may have ended on like a bit of a kind of cliffhanger ish, right? Like kind of. I'm not gonna say much because you haven't played it, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say like much. But you know it ended, and it's like, oh, maybe there will be a third one, and then it never came. But then the MMO came out, and I'm like, eh, right? You know, like you know, I
Yeah,
don't know.
like I will say when I played the MMO, like I didn't really have a group to play it with, and like for the time, I don't know if it's changed, but at the time they didn't really have like an in-game matchmaking system, and they essentially had these duties which they called flashpoints. They were essentially like four-player missions that you would go and play with people, and you can make narrative choices and essentially do the content together, kind of like a dungeon raid, basically, with story cutscenes. And like I really enjoyed those, and I really enjoyed like the story cutscenes that I got to do. I played out of like the 8 classes or whatever, I want to say I played like 6 or 7 of like the tutorial area, like first 15 to 20 levels of each class. I really enjoyed that part of the game. But it's just I didn't really have anyone to play with, and like when it came to the combat and like generally how the game worked, it just felt really mediocre. I was really only in for it with the story. And it kind of just got to a point where I'm like, I want to play this game by myself. I don't have anyone to play with, and I can't really find people online to play with. So I just kind of dropped it. It didn't really feel like it was worth a subscription price for what I was getting, even though I really enjoyed the story bits. And
Hmm.
like, I guess this is kind of a mild spoiler for the MMO, but like there is a point where you kind of go back to Terrace, but like it's kind of all overgrown, it's like a big jungle. Clearly a lot of time has passed, and like, you find out through story stuff that, it's kind of related to the first game, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know how many references there is to 2 because I only played a little bit of 2. I really need to play that. But, overall, I thought it was a pretty okay game. I enjoyed the story, and I honestly just didn't really like the grind as much compared to a lot of MMOs. The combat was pretty stale, at least as far as my class was concerned, because I was playing a Jedi Knight. So, but overall, it was an okay game. But I don't know if I would go back to it at this point, not unless we were playing it together just for like the story stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I would need like it's one of those things where I would need to really think about it. If I have nothing else I'm doing, then maybe, right? Because I know we talked about playing World of Warcraft. I don't want to get
Yeah,
into World of Warcraft. Like I don't want to make it like something that is like a play all the time kind of thing. Because I don't want to do that with Warcraft, to be honest. But
yeah,
like like if it's something, because I know you want to at least try it at some point.
yeah.
Like I would play it. I like I said, I just don't want to get like hardcore into WoW. You know, I'm past that. I don't think it's a good game anymore. But like it's kind of the same thing with Knights of the Republic, right? It's like yeah, I'll play it. Like I'll play it with you if you wanted. I just don't think it's something that I'd play every day, right?
Well, yeah, and like I don't know if I'd want to either. At this point, I don't have a ton of interest in playing. Like it would only really change, if something big came out, especially now that the ownership of the MMO is not actually with BioWare anymore. They transferred it to another company sometime last year.
Okay, I mean, who knows then? Maybe something would happen with it, right?
Like it's possible. I'm not opposed to maybe trying it again in the future, but we just have so many good games to play that like taking the time to play that, like unless we somehow convince the guys to play with us too, then I don't know if it's like super appealing, at least for me. I have too many other things to do.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? That's kind of why I'm saying like I wouldn't make it like a priority to play it. Like it's not something I would play over a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But if I came down to it, like yeah, I'd play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be something I'd want to play constantly or consistently.
Yeah.
But might be fun to try. All right, shall we continue?
Yeah.
All right. Da, 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 da.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
What is that from?
I don't know.
That
'Cause
looks
on
like it
first
should be
glance,
from
I
something.
I want to say it's Groudon, but I know it's not Groudon.
It's not Groudon. It's not a Bakugan. I don't know what you are.
Is it a Digimon of some kind?
I don't think. I mean, I don't know because it does kind of look like oddly anime. You know what?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, but like I'm trying to think of like what they would have had. Maybe Google can help you.
Okay, so you know what? Here, well, first off, I'm gonna do this, but a little like just real life thing, I guess. For today, that I guess other people can know about. We went out shopping today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Megan bought some margarine, and my mom, who was there as well, was oh, holy shit! Well, they have actually much better pictures of this dinosaur online, actually.
Nice.
Monster Racer Flare.
Oh.
It says Monster Racer Flare mascot. Wow, this picked up pretty good actually. I don't. Maybe I'll post pictures in the edited version of this, like at the end, because like that's actually seems pretty good. Like here, I'll see if I can send it to you.
Okay.
Share. So anyway, yeah. So we went out shopping. My mom, Megan, picked up some margarine. And my mom was like, "Oh, I bought margarine like a few days ago," and I was like, "Yeah, 'cause I was there actually. I do kind of remember that." And so we looked and looked and looked, and we came home, and my mom thought it was on the counter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but we didn't know because we were like, okay, well, no one took it out of the bag. Was it just sitting there, right? Like what happened to the margarine? So we were looking a little bit. Megan actually went outside to check her car to see if it was accidentally left in her car. And the reason I bring this up is because my mom actually sent me a text like just now, a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Just saying, I found the margarine. You know where it was? It was sitting outside on the table where we were sitting.
Oh.
And I say
See?
that's funny. Oh, go ahead.
I saw that when we were outside, but I thought that was your mom's container for the nuts for the squirrel.
Okay, that's funny. Because, see, like, I even asked you, I was like, well, Megan, is it sitting outside, like, on the chair or something? And you're like, no.
Well, I didn't think it was out there.
So I
Why
do
was
find
it
that
out of
really
the
funny.
bag?
I don't know.
Like, maybe we just didn't pack it in the bag? Anyways, it doesn't matter. But
It doesn't matter. Also, I need to get that picture again. Sorry, accidentally. I forgot to send it. That's just my bad.
rude.
A little bit. I gotta do it before my phone dies.
Well, hopefully it wasn't hot enough to actually melt the margarine too much.
I mean, it's probably fine. Okay, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, cool as hell, right?
Yeah.
And my phone just died. Hell yeah, I did it just in the nick of time. I should probably plug that
Gotta
bad boy in, but I'll do it as it's going through this, I guess.
Hello? Is anybody here? Hello? So I heard this rumor that E3 was back to its big old self, but apparently I'm all alone here. Feel left out somehow. We're moving by the Eidos booth.
Man, it's kind of
in
fun, like,
news,
walking around E3 at night.
And
Well, maybe
Yeah.
not at night. Well, no, I guess it was at
normally
night.
the EA booth is just jam-packed with people trying to get in. to
Yeah,
see
I guess this
Dragon
would have been like
Age
at the
or
end of the day.
Dante's
Oh, Dragon
Inferno or
Age!
Battlefield
Dragon
Black Ops
Age.
2, or play some Need for Speed Shift or Brutal Legend or whatever else is on show here. But it appears it's all
Dante's
been
Inferno.
deserted.
I saw that statue. I
Yeah,
like
I've heard
that
that's
game.
a good game.
I liked it, you know.
To the left of us, we've got Blur, the new racer.
Oh, there's
Yay,
Blur.
Blur!
Bizarre Creations, the Project Gotham
I'm
Racing
so
team.
sad that game failed.
We're just closing
What made
in
it good,
on the THQ
in your
booth,
opinion?
where they've shown
Eh,
off,
so it was like their
Warhammer
first attempt at
40,000,
making like
Space Marine,
a relatively
the action
realistic.
title, not to be confused
Well, I
with
say
the
realistic, but
Dawn
it
of
was
War
kind of like an
franchise.
arcadey
THQ,
type
big
racing
focus
game.
on
It had
Red
like
Faction
power ups and
Guerrilla,
stuff,
obviously
but it
playable
had like a
here.
realistic
Also
art
a new
style,
title
like
from
something
the
like Need
Chaos
for Speed.
Studios,
And
Homefront.
just the way like the track design
we've
and
got
everything,
some
and like
Darksiders
the
here on
way
the
the power ups
left.
were designed, it was a
Cool
really
little
fun
huts.
racing game. Like I had a lot of fun with it. It just
Okay.
never really got traction, and they
Let's
kind of
leave this
advertised it as
place.
being like Mario Kart in the real world, which I don't know if that's the best approach, but
I mean, sounds
yeah,
interesting.
unfortunately, it didn't sell very well. And I did play it on PC a few years after launch, and I had a really good time with Blur. But yeah, unfortunately, I never got a sequel or anything.
Okay. Interesting. I might need to give it a play sometime.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is the next one. This one's like in 3 parts. Uploaded by Chris Robertson. So thank you, Chris. I was going to edit my clips from E3 2009 together and try to be somewhat professional. Instead, I let them languish on my computer for exactly 1 year and finally decided to put the raw video up. Relatable. Nice. Says me, who still has literal like hours worth of fucking Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just sitting there waiting to be like actually put together and uploaded soon.
See, your goal is to get all of Scarlet and Violet up before the next Pokemon game comes out, like next mainline.
Good God, that's gonna be quite a thing. And for anyone wondering, it's literally like 2 terabytes.
It's
like,
a lot. I have a lot of it still on my computer too, because we have my perspective and yours.
Yeah, so it's like literal 2 terabytes worth of footage. So I need to set my ass down and get working on it.
Yeah. Fun game, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. Especially since we were just kind of playing it nonstop at the beginning.
Yeah, we did play it pretty obsessively. It was fun.
That, and it was during the era when my footage, like, regularly crashed. Which also makes it awkward. But that's okay. You guys will see it eventually. Soon,
Yeah.
TM. See, now this is the kind of footage that I miss. Right? Just a dude walking around. Right? I like that. So it's kind of a sad thing. With E3 being dead, you can't really get anything like this anymore. It's not like anyone's going to go to the Nintendo Direct and like just walk around with their camera like as they're filming stuff, you know? I would love that. but you know,
That'd be
I
funny.
don't
Get some behind the scenes footage of like Nintendo filming the Direct.
Atlas.
Demon Souls, yeah.
Yeah, and you got like the GameSpot like area. So back when I watched like E3, like say I normally watch it through GameSpot, and I remember this exact setup for like the room because they always had this room set up because you had the dude like behind a desk, and then you had like a bit of a couch, and then someone who was there like from like representing the game that they were showing. And that's what I remember with God of War 3, which is why I'm still really confused why I have that memory, but I don't. It doesn't seem to exist, so I'm just really confused by that. Because I actually really liked watching the GameSpot setup. That was kind of neat. I remember they did a thing with DJ Hero as well. I think that was this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, the music is so good. I didn't say fire back then because that wasn't a term that I don't think was thrown around in 2009.
So
But
lit.
but if it was, I'd be like, damn, it's so fire, man. It's so lit, you know. But because it was good. I think it was like Rude Boy mixed with what was the song? It's Rude Boy and fuck, I don't remember the other song. I don't remember. It was good though. It was a good remix. Trauma Team. Oh yeah, see, we're getting more of the GameSpot booth.
Yeah.
Demon Souls. The game that now I will say, I know we point out Demon Souls a couple times, but like I do want to actually just kind of point out how big of a deal this actually kind of is. Like we're not like normally I see something like this, I'm like, oh, it literally changes like how video games are, right? And you know what?
Yeah.
I need to give Demon Souls credit because it actually kind of did, right?
I mean, with help of Dark Souls, it essentially invented a new genre of game.
Yeah, and now we have like Souls likes, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Demon Souls literally put like see it added like so much to gaming, right? Like I've never played Demon Souls. I want to. But yeah, I played my Dark Souls games. No one will see them, unfortunately. Because that was back before in my very early days of streaming, literally first game I ever streamed, Dark Souls 1. And that was before you could like record at the same time. So I don't have any of that. I don't have Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3 on the archive. But you know, so it's you know a game that does have some special meaning to me. But you know, like I don't know. I remember Demon Souls came. Like I remember like Demon Souls when it came out. I never played it at all, but I just remember everybody was like hardest game ever, Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Like if you beat it, you're like a real gamer, man. Because there's no easy mode in that one. And I'm like, that sounds cool, but you know, I never got around to playing it. And then you know, Dark Souls obviously like exploded in popularity, right?
Yeah.
Even more so than Demon Souls did. And like FromSoft, like legitimately, it made FromSoft like a proper, full-on, well-respected company, right? Like I'm not saying they weren't well like respected before, because I mean they made Armored Core, and people liked Armored Core. But there was something about, you know, Dark Souls when it came out that everybody like suddenly FromSoft went from like, you know, like what, like maybe like B to A tier developer, right? To like AAA developer, you know what I mean? Where it suddenly became a reason to own a system, right? Because I'm sure Demon Souls, like the remaster or remake, probably got people to buy PS5s. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like I've heard that the remake is actually really good. It was done by Bluepoint specifically, but it was based off the original game that FromSoft made.
Yeah. So, you know, like it's one of those games that actually did do a lot of crazy big things for gaming. Yeah, I don't know, like, and you know what, and I will say this, and I've said this before, but I'll keep saying it. I really respect FromSoft as a company for two reasons. Number one, they didn't forget about Armored Core because they went and made a new Armored Core, right?
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting. And two, because they didn't run Dark Souls into the ground. You know what I mean? Which I really respect, because they could have kept making Dark Souls games. But they're like, Dark Souls 3, final one in the series. And you know what? I'm not saying anything because Megan hasn't played it. But, excuse me, had a sneeze. But you know what? It actually had an ending that I felt was kind of like very fitting, to be honest, right? Like it's not one of those endings where it's like, oh, you know, you beat the final, you beat the Dark Soul, right? And you know, like that's why it's called Dark Souls or something. Whoa, right? Like it's not like that, but it's like a very fitting ending if you know what it is, right? Like to be fair, I didn't get it. Like someone actually like told me after, like I beat the boss. I was like, holy shit, that's actually really clever. And I kind of thought like that was really interesting. I don't know. It's really cool. It's really cool. I really like it. I wish I could say more, but number one, play it if you haven't. And number two, Megan, that also goes for you. Play it soon.
I will. I did kind of start it a while ago, but I'm gonna restart whenever I get back to it.
Yeah. Sin and Punishment 2. I don't recall that one. WWE SmackDown versus Raw. Solid. Dude playing DJ Hero. I saw that in the background. I don't know what this big ass like clock is. Like this, right? Like over on the side. I don't know if you can see it, but over on the left.
I can kind of see it, but I'm not too sure. I don't recognize it.
I like how there are just some people like watching it for some reason. Looks like some people are anyway, just like maybe not. I like to imagine people are just watching it count down, going like, what happens at the end? Ah, the Rabbids. Oh no.
See, that'd be really funny if it was just a countdown timer of like the weekend of E3, and then people watch just like, oh, time's up.
Time's up. Time to leave. Seared Steel 2. Could be Fit Games. Man, you know, it's actually really crazy to see like E3 back in '95, and then like kind of seeing this, like what it did become. I don't know, it's really cool, you know?
Yeah. I still kind of miss a lot of the giant statues they had in like the '90s E3s.
You know what? That's a good point, because like, yeah, actually, kind of looking at this E3, I think it's like kind of telling seeing the show floor how we're not really seeing like any big spectacles anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Now maybe this is just like a small section of E3 where they don't have that, but we're seeing just a lot of TVs and a lot of like sectioned off booths.
Yeah.
But really no statues, or because like, yeah, because they used to have like statues and they had like a literal half pipe for skateboarders to like go on, right? BMX,
Yeah.
you know? They had a wrestling ring a couple of different years, right? Which is insanity. So, but yeah, like this is just people walking around with like not as much fun. Yeah, no statues. Like that's good to call out, actually. You know?
Yeah, because I mean it's been a while since we've seen one, but like even like the early 2000s E3s, like they didn't really have a lot of the statues or spectacle.
Not really. Like I feel like they still had some, but yeah, it certainly wasn't like quite as much. Because I recall the one for Twilight Princess where they had like that one area, and then you had a guy controlling like Puppet Link Dog, like Puppet Link Wolf, right? But yeah, like here, there's none of that. It's just like sectioned off like booths and everything.
Honestly, this kind of like just the way they got this set up, it kind of reminds me of like a job fair or like an open house or something. It doesn't really feel like a convention, you know?
Kind of, right? Like, is this when we start seeing the proper decline of E3? Because I do remember during the mid 2010s, yeah, I do remember there were people saying like, oh yeah, you're just not really seeing like as much fun stuff on the show floor anymore. And I guess that's kind of what we're seeing now. Like maybe they either decided one, it was too much money, or two, maybe they're just like, well, people are mostly just there to play games, right? We don't need to blow things. Like see, this kind of stuff is cool. Like people dressed up, like that's neat.
Yeah,
but it's
I
still
like
not
the people in the costumes.
Yeah, right. But it's still not quite the same as seeing like a giant, you know, like Spyro, or you know, what were some of the things that we saw? I know we saw like a giant Spyro, a giant Donkey Kong. There was a Croc. Yeah, there was a giant Croc. And there's like a really weird looking Donkey Kong ones, I'm pretty sure.
There was also like a big thing for like Pokemon Gold and Silver as well.
Yeah, oh, and then you had like the fountain, like the Pokemon fountain thing where like gifts, like prizes would come out or something. Man, yeah, you're right. It became like oddly, yeah, this has become oddly sterile, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's still cool to walk through, but yeah, we're seeing, I guess what a lot of people maybe saw as the decline of E3 kind of already starting, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yo, Bethesda. Dude, I want to go into like a Bethesda store where it's just like, you know, Todd Howard sitting there like just lying to you, right? But like a believable lie. You know, like I just want him to kind of like lie. It's like lie to me, dude. But you know, like I would give him like $20 to just like sit across from me at a table and just like tell me sweet little lies for like, you know, 20 minutes, like $1 a minute, we'll say, right? I'd be curious what he'd say.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Why is there no sound to this? I don't have it muted.
You might just need to give it a minute, or maybe the footage doesn't have sound.
Maybe. I guess I should also emphasize this is part 2 of that video, by the way, still from Chris Robertson, which is why I just immediately went into, you know, just playing it. Because I'm like, same guy, right? I should still probably say that. Yeah, it's not muted.
Yeah, there might just be no sound to this part. I guess we'll see if it picks up, but...
I mean, if there's no sounds, it doesn't really matter, I suppose.
Yeah, because like I do find it kind of funny how he's got the 2 parts, because this just reminds me of the era of YouTube where you couldn't upload a video longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think we might be in that era of YouTube, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think we are.
2009.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I kind of miss well, I don't miss old YouTube for that, but like I kind of miss like how YouTube used to be a lot more chill back then, right?
Yeah.
But like there's a kind of a weird nostalgia because like for anybody that doesn't know, like there was a time when you had to like upload to YouTube in like only 15-minute chunks, which nowadays sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember like one YouTuber that Dead to Rights, we've seen that game, but that's probably one of the sequels. But like one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, I remember one time he made like, he did a bit of a joke, and I thought it was actually really, really funny. Because he always cut his, because he was like he was a very like kind of rambly talker, right? I guess not too dissimilar to me in that regard. But he had a British accent, so it was much more pleasant to listen to. So you know, he often got into situations where like mid-sentence or mid-word he would like get cut off like for the part. And I remember once during one of his playthroughs, I don't remember which one, but he made a joke. He was like, yeah, some people complain about how I kind of get like, you know, how I cut myself off when the parts get cut. And then like right as he was like saying that, it was the 15-minute cut. And then it had to be continued next part. I'm like, dude, he totally planned that. That was just absolutely like hilarious to me. I was like, damn, that's actually really good.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a timer going on his end, so when he got close to 15 minutes, he would get cut off on purpose.
He may have, right? And I was like, damn, it's so funny. I really should show you some of his Let's Plays sometime, dude.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
A world record attempt. Billy Mitchell, are you here?
Oh, it's Steve Weeb.
Steve Weeb, holy shit, he's the other guy. Wasn't he the guy in like the other half of King of Kong or whatever, like that documentary?
Yeah.
Isn't he also kind of a dick? I don't remember.
I don't know much about him, to be honest. I just remember he made an attempt on the record. I don't know if it would have been this one or not, but eventually he ended up beating Billy Mitchell, and like Billy Mitchell tried to discredit him and say it wasn't valid because he didn't do it in person and blah blah blah. So Steve Weeb challenged him, and like Billy Mitchell just never showed up.
It sounds pretty accurate.
So I don't know how things are now. I just remember in the King of Kong and like a lot of the stuff I've seen about Billy Mitchell, he was involved because he's one of the top Donkey Kong players.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. So there you go. We got a piece of history right here. This is probably even in
Quick
King
little
of Kong.
history lesson.
Quick little history lesson. Don't trust Billy Mitchell either. He's a total liar. Kind of a scumbag, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I even hear his barbecue sauce isn't all that good. Sorry, Billy Mitchell. Please don't sue me. Or I guess do. I don't know. You probably wouldn't win. You know. Watch me get like a strike on this video or something. Going like, yo, take this video down.
I mean, to be fair, he might.
So yeah, I guess the world record attempt is kind of like a piece of the spectacle.
Yeah.
It's still not like statues or anything, but I guess I guess that's kind of the other thing too. We're seeing a lot more like booths kind of set up for journalists, right? Because like this is definitely a journalist thing, right? Like right here.
Yeah.
Because they have like the microphone, that like the boom mic kind of thing. They have like a setup here. So I think we're kind of starting to see like journalism really creep its way in, right?
Yeah.
We're to the point where they're having their own little booths. Because we've seen it with GameSpot. We're seeing it here with whatever this is. And this is probably one in the back right here too. Game On or whatever. I'm not really too sure. There are going to be a lot that I don't quite recognize, right? Because I never, like, I'm not going to lie, GameSpot was kind of the one I mostly went to for my gaming news. But even then, it was just like GameFAQs, even, like, in general. People just post on, like, the GameFAQs board and go, like, whoa, you heard about this game? And I'm like, no. And then I would look at it, and I'm like, ah, neat.
Also, Matt, did you see it on the left side? It was Africa.
I did see that. I did see Africa.
One day I want to play that game. It's really expensive, though.
One day we'll definitely, like, one day we'll have to just save up a lot of money and get some of the really expensive games.
Ooh, my wallet.
True, yes, our wallets would be hurting, but hey, we could say we have Africa and also Rule of Rose. That I honestly, I don't think there's going to be any game that I'm probably going to attempt to own that's as expensive as Rule of Rose.
Yeah.
Probably
honest,
same for you, actually.
Really think of any.
Because like I don't know how much.
Watch 3 is about my limit at like the $500 I paid for it.
Yeah, right. And like with Africa, I even think Africa is probably not as expensive as Rule of Rose.
No, I want to say maybe it's about $150 or $200. Also, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it's from because this isn't Titanfall, right?
No, it's too early for Titanfall.
Yeah,
I mean, we're kind of in Ubisoft stuff, so maybe it's a Ghost Recon thing.
I mean, maybe. See, I'm just not really too sure because I don't recall anything with a mech. I mean, it could be.
Either.
Like, it's definitely not Armored Core or anything related to that because, like you said, it's in the Ubisoft area. I'm not too sure. If anyone knows, you can. I don't think it's related to Rabbids either. But it'd be funny if it was. Yeah, please look at the front, my dude. Oh wait.
He teased us.
But yeah, if anybody knows what that is, please inform me because it's probably cool. Like the only other thing I could think of is Avatar because it kind of looks like the mech suit in Avatar, just not quite as bulky. It's not, I don't think, because the movie wouldn't have been out at this point.
I'd say the movie would have come out later this year. Yeah, I don't think it would be related to that. It does look a lot like the mech suits from Avatar, though.
It does. Yo, SmackDown versus Raw. Who's fighting whomst? I could not see. I set the wrong button to pause, but that's okay. Yeah, weird how there's no sound for this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's like I doubt anyone's really talking. Like even in part 1, there was like nothing.
Yeah, it's possible when he was recording the footage, maybe something happened and the sound didn't record properly.
Here's a gaming journalist. You can tell because he has a big ass camera set up to record his gameplay. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not hating on gaming journalists, by the way. Hell, I wish I were one back in the era of E3. I think it would have been cool to get. I actually heard it really wasn't that hard either, right?
Yeah.
Necessarily, I heard someone say like, just start up like. Just get like a cheap like web domain or whatever, and then just like put up reviews, and you'll get an invite to E3. Like that like I heard it was relatively easy. As long as you're like a gaming journalist by definition, I think you could get a pass, right?
That's pretty funny.
That's what I heard. I could be wrong, but it's like, so I find it interesting that we are seeing like a lot more of that. Now that we're nearing the 2010s,
Yeah.
Yo, Rock Band. Tiger Woods before all the scandal. Is that like a Dragon Age thing?
That was the Dragon Age thing, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I've not ever played Dragon Age. It's been on my list forever. Like, actually forever, it's been on my list. I think I've said this before. The only reason I haven't played Dragon Age is because I keep saying I want time to actually be able to sit down and just, like, play a long RPG. Where I can just not think, like, oh, I need to stop sometime soon. But in, like, the decade that I've actually had the game, I don't think I've actually felt like that. Where I could sit down and actually just play the game without feeling like I'd have to stop, like, earlier than what I want. Is that sad? Is that sad? That feels, like, kind of sad now that I'm saying it.
Maybe just a little bit considering the time frame, but you should definitely play it. Honestly, I would love to be able to replay it because it's been a long time, and I would like to be able to actually play the sequels. Even though I know people say they're mediocre, I still want to play them. I still think they'd be fun.
Yeah, right? Unless I'm just gonna do this because I want to use this for later. It's a part 3.
Okay.
Oh, 2013. No, thank you, PlayStation. Not yet. But I see they're hosting it now, so within a couple years' time, we'll probably get really easy, high HD conferences if all the companies host theirs.
Probably, yeah.
It's part 3 of Chris Robertson walking around E3. Will we have sound? No. Am I just dumb? Like, did I accidentally mute it? Oh, hold on. Now I'm actually wondering. No, I didn't
think so.
Okay. I just wasn't too sure. Because you never know. I could have accidentally hit, like, a button and killed my sound for it. I didn't think I did, but you never know, right? I've done silly things like that before. I don't know why it's doing that. Ignore that. Very blue booth.
Oh, it's like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Winter Olympics. Hey, Sonic and Mario, look, they're fighting.
Do you think they ever got Charles Martinet to dress up as Mario and do the Mario voice?
See, I don't know, because he's, like, pretty tall, isn't he? I don't know if he'd fit in, like, one of those costumes. It'd be cool. It'd be really cool.
True.
I'm not gonna lie. Part of me hopes that they did.
I mean, yeah, with how strict Nintendo is about how their characters are portrayed, though, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't do it because he's too tall to play Mario.
Oh, they're shattered memories. But yeah, I could see that, right? Because, like, he is a pretty tall guy, isn't he? Like, is he like 6'3" or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, I think he's a fairly tall guy. And I think you're right. Nintendo would probably be very strict, like, oh, Mario is, like, this exact height. So,
yeah,
you know, you can't be taller or shorter. You have to be this exact height. See, okay, now we're getting some of the spectacle. A little bit. I don't know which one this is. I see, like, a samurai dude. And a bunch of trees.
I would say I don't recognize it, but it's also a little blurry on my end.
It's a little blurry on my end as well, trust me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna take a Google image of this because it worked so well last time that I'm sure it actually worked pretty well here too. But I think the closest we're ever gonna get to Charles Martinet like dressing up as Mario is them doing that face tracking that he did at some of the E3s.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because like I think that's probably the closest we're ever gonna get to that, which ain't bad to be fair.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now my phone's charged up a little bit. Let me slap on the Google Images.
Honestly, I think it'd be pretty funny if they set up the costume in a way where like there's buttons that the person wearing the costume can press that just plays like clips of Charles Martinet's voice.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
What was the Mini Ninjas booth, apparently? Oh, this is actually another real nice picture of it. I'm going to share it with you.
Yeah, okay. See, I vaguely know of Mini Ninjas, but I've never played it.
There you go. I'm just going to do this. And me sending it to Megan will also make it so I probably end up putting it in the video later, which is another reason I may or may not be doing this. Because I can see a much
Huh.
clearer thing there.
Giant inflatable boss, huh?
And here's
That's kind of cool.
yeah, and here's another angle. We just send that. Paste. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so pretty cool. Pretty cool. IDOS. I see Batman. Was that Arkham Asylum?
Yeah, that is Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum.
Another game that I've always heard great things about, but never played.
Fantastic
why.
game. I've played it probably 4 or 5 times.
I still find it really impressive that like they had what was the one Easter egg that wasn't discovered for like a few
Yeah.
years or something, to the point where I think they said the dev actually like put the video out himself. It was like, here's how you do it. Here's how you find
Yeah.
this hidden area. And it's like, whoa, mind blown, holy crap, right? Like I think that's really cool.
Yeah, honestly, they had a lot of weird stuff like that. Like, I believe there was even a certain character you can talk to, like, if you go and see them on specific days of the year. They had a bunch of different dialogue for a lot of different holidays, and I think
Huh.
you did get a trophy for seeing him on all these dates. I never bothered doing that, but I've heard there's quite a few of them.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
What was the other like Easter egg I was thinking of as well? See, I kind of want to play Batman just so I can see this character. I'm kind of curious how they would do that. But like, wasn't there an Easter egg in like the Wave Race 64 game? I think that was discovered like what, a few years ago now, I think. But it was like, it took like 10 or 15 years or something to actually like find it. But like it's some kind of mode or game mode or something where the announcer like insults you or something like that. I don't quite remember, but I remember there being a thing, and it was like, whoa, it's finally been found after all these years. It's like, holy crap, a game like Wave Race had a thing that wasn't found. I'm so sad that games can't have that anymore, that everything gets data mined. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with like how technology and like I guess the industry is kind of evolved. It's just like you can't have hidden Easter eggs like that because like people are literally just gonna know everything about the game before they even play it.
Yeah, right? Like, I miss the days when it's like, whoa, man, look at all these mysteries. Now
Well,
it's
yeah, and
like, oh, look at all these new Pokemon. Oh, they go Rock Band. I remember that. It's like, oh, look at
nice.
the new Pokemon's coming out. We know all of the Pokemon a month beforehand, right? It's like,
Yeah, because
all
like
right.
I don't remember exactly where I heard this from. It was on some kind of discussion on a podcast. But basically they whoever was talking about was basically saying that people wanted to play WoW Classic not because of the actual content, but because they kind of missed the feeling of playing a game and figuring it out for yourself. Where like you go on to WoW Classic nowadays and pretty much everyone has everything solved down to a T. There's no discovery, there's no experimentation, there's
Mm-hmm.
no like communication with like the community to figure things out. And like I feel like that's the part or aspect that people miss about a lot of old MMOs. Like I know I did about like RuneScape and stuff from way back in the
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
So like we just don't really get that kind of experience anymore. Even when it comes to new games, like for example, Helldivers, like people figure out the meta builds and the best builds within like the first week and then they play the same thing over and over again. Like it's not nearly as creative or interesting with what people really decide to play.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. Technology's kind of ruined some of the more fun, like mysterious aspects of certain games, right?
Yeah.
Like with things that are hidden and everything. It's like like you said, you know basically everything about the games.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that kind of sucks. I miss being able to discover things in games, man. I'm not saying I came up like I found anything groundbreaking myself. But like, it's neat to just, you know, go into a world of mystery and not know what is actually out there. Like, I think you're right. I think that is kind of a thing with WoW, where yeah, you're not really missing like the game, but you're missing the exploration of said game.
Yeah. Cause like when I heard that it made a lot of sense to me. And like even when it comes to like new games like competitive games, like even like Dota or League of Legends or Valorant, if there's like a balance change, people will literally just be able to find the best meta build within usually about a week at most. And
Hmm.
then it just becomes stale again.
Yeah, it's very boring in that regard. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what games had like the biggest like. Whoa, look how open and mysterious it is to me. I'm really trying to think. I'm not sure. Like I know Ocarina of Time actually gave me like a lot of that feeling, I think, when I played it when it first came out. Big
Yeah.
open world. It's like, where do I go, man? I can go anywhere. What's here? Like, how do I get this? Like, like it's pretty cool. Like that's pretty cool. I can't think of any other games that really did that for me. Well, I know I've had them. I just can't think of them like off the top of my head.
Well, for me, it was a lot of like older MMOs. Like I remember when I first played RuneScape, I remember feeling how big and the world was and how much there was to do. Even with some other MMOs like MapleStory, I played a lot of different MMOs. But like the other one I can think of in particular is starting a brand new Pokemon game because the world felt
Mm-hmm.
so big. There were so many different Pokemon to collect. There were so many different people to talk to, locations to discover. And like there still is some of that with some of the new games, but it's not nearly as momentous as it felt as a kid. And maybe that's just changed because I've gotten older. But yeah, I think at least part of that comes down to technology kind of giving us free access to information. Because I imagine there would have been a lot of things in like Scarlet and Violet where if I had found them out on my own and not through like some Reddit post, I probably would have been amazed and be like, "What? This is in the game?"
I think that's very true, actually. Like I think Pokemon is actually a really good example of that. Because like thinking about it
Yeah.
now, one thing that I remember when I was a kid and I was playing the original Pokemon Red and Blue and watching the show, because the show was airing as well when I was playing the games. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
right? And there was something really fun about like playing the game and not knowing exactly what other Pokemon may be out there. It's like, like what Pokemon are in the game that I haven't seen on the show, right?
Yeah.
What Pokemon have evolutions that I haven't seen on the show, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, man, that's so crazy, Like there was definitely a world of mystery with that, and it was really good. It was really fun. Yo, APB. I like how this is one of the final things you're gonna see before the video ends as well. So what do you know about APB? Do you know much about it?
So I never played a lot of the original version of the game. I played, I'd say, a fair amount of APB Reloaded when it got brought back up. But
Mm-hmm.
for people who are unaware, it was basically like an open world MMO where you could either play as the cops or you could play as the robbers, and you could
Mm-hmm.
do things in the world between like robbing crimes and
Robbing
stopping people.
crimes.
Okay, robbing stores and committing crimes is what I meant to say, and
Uh-huh.
like stopping them, or like when I played Reloaded there was like certain missions you can go on where you could like I think the robbers were trying to get in somewhere and the police were trying to defend another area and vice versa. I don't remember a ton about the specifics, but it was basically like team deathmatch from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was a pretty interesting concept. It was really cool to be able to go out and see like a bunch of other players. When I played it, like playing criminals was way more popular. There was very few people playing cops. So it wasn't really much fun to play a cop. But I don't know a lot about the original. I just know at one point or another it went down and eventually got bought out and picked back up and became Reloaded.
See, now I couldn't really tell you much about the game specifically, right? Um Besides really what you kind of said, like I don't even really remember how the game was originally because I never played it, but I do remember seeing the original announcement trailer, I believe. And it looked pretty cool. Obviously there's no gameplay. I think it was all like CG. But it gave you kind of like the idea for what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And like you said, like cops versus criminals, And the the trailer gave me the impression that it was meant to be like Grand Theft Auto, but an MMO where you can play as a criminal or a cop, and I'm like, that sounds pretty cool, actually,
Yeah.
right? And then so I was actually kind of excited for the game. I wasn't excited enough to buy it, right? Because I think as time went on, it kind of became a bit apparent that maybe it wasn't going to be as good as one would have hoped. So I didn't actually end up buying it, but I did hear later on that it was actually very not good. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want to play it. To be honest, I'm out, lads.
Yeah, like it's a cool idea. It's just I don't think it really worked very well, like in reality when it came to the concept, unfortunately.
You kind of like Meg, actually. I guess it kind of gives me the same
Yeah.
feeling as Meg, where it's like cool idea, but just not there. You know, just quite not there.
Yeah.
That's the end of part 3 for that one. So I think we have a couple more. Only one more, apparently. This is the longer one, but it's from GameFly.
Good old
Whoa.
Gamefly.
Good old GameFly. So by Area 5. So I assume, once again, probably gaming journalists. I don't quite know what Area 5 is. I don't know if they're affiliated with them. GameFly or not. Push Memories. I don't really care about that, probably.
Yeah.
Because it's probably people talking. I don't know, maybe we'll have a look after this, and maybe I'll just like add it in after if it actually seems good. Yeah, check out the best games, biggest booths, and baddest displays from the big E3 video game show in LA. We found all sorts of wacky things looking in all kinds of weird corners of the show. I do like wacky things.
Nice.
So yeah, Showfloor tour. I don't know what co-op is. I'm not too sure what any of this is. But once again, I presume game journalism, probably.
Probably.
The other thing I want to point out, actually, just really quick before I forget, is in this one in part 3, you know what? I actually did see some statues around, right?
Yeah.
So it's still not as big as like earlier E3s, but there was at least a section where some devs were like, okay, we're gonna put a thing out, right?
Yeah.
Which is fun.
But they do seem to be more tucked away instead of like as you come into the showroom or anything, right?
Yeah, right. Scribblenauts. Oh boy, I never played that. But see, you can tell there's like a theme where I'm like, I've not played some of these games, but it's like I at least know how good they are.
Here we
right?
are. It's the
Scribblenauts
heart
was
of E3,
interesting, yeah.
Essentially, I mean, we got Nintendo here, Sony right here, and us. Yeah.
Is it too quiet down at 5%?
Bunch of dudes with beards.
It's
Rob
a little quiet
Bowen.
on my end, yeah.
Rob Bowen, where do I know that name? I feel like I know that name from somewhere. Was he with like another company as well? Hold on, I'm gonna Google this.
I would say I haven't heard it, so I don't know.
Rob Bowen. Well, he's definitely not a former baseball player. I don't think. Video games. Ah, this is him. He's on X apparently. Video game and entertainment creator, senior producer of all things that are awesome. Ah, he's working on Concord, the game that we actually
Oh.
saw at the thing. That's probably where I know his name from then, because he probably showed up to talk about that.
That's pretty funny. So you're seeing him 15 years in the past.
I am. Look at him. He's so. I don't even remember what he looked like when they showed him. But I mean, like, damn, he's like younger. Clearly, I mean, to be fair, like his profile picture on X, he looks essentially the same. To be honest with you, but like he's working his little baby game journalism job. Right? I like that. See, I like that. You know.
Yeah.
I like that actually. It's kind of cute when you look at it like that. You know, where it's like. Look at Rob Bowen, like, he doesn't know that, like, in many years' time, he would go on to be, like, a video game producer and, like, designer, I guess, right?
Yeah.
In the center of, well, yeah. Yeah. You know, we went to the press conferences the past 2 days. We spent the past 2 nights making a show. I think it's time we go to the booths and actually play some tapes.
We should reward ourselves with some awesome gameplay. Okay.
We got a camera. We can skip in line.
That's true. So,
Okay, I kind of like that.
Sony? You like
I wonder if that's, like,
Sony.
just a joke or if that is somewhat serious. I wonder if they would have, like, priority for gaming, like, journalist peeps. Like, with a camera, I mean.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Don't put that
surprised if they had like an express line or something for people with cameras and journalists.
So we'll see if this is something we want to, like, 2 times speed through. I kind of think so. At least for now. I do like that they have a little intro, though.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to point this out. It's in the era when intros were really long. Probably
That's
much
true.
longer than they needed to be.
Yeah, I never really understood why intros needed to be longer than like 30 seconds.
I really want to get in this line right now, but it's a fucking long line. But it looks so good. I just want to play it.
God of War days.
Nice.
God of War 2, there are a lot more like improvements and a lot more additions that they added into the game. And you know, doing it on the PS3, it's going to be a lot larger. You know, it's going to be much more epic and you know, some more like ripping horns and heads off of creatures and more blood.
Yeah, more blood.
Well, the thing that I noticed mostly is that instead of having like the same sort of combos again in like 2 or just square, triangle and shit, like they mix it up so much in this that I'm like really like excited again to have like the combat and everything be in the game. And it just like I don't know, it looks ridiculously good. Like the graphics are so good. I'm sure they're gonna utilize the surround sound and everything, so like everything more epic. Just the graphics alone has got me going, and then the gameplay and everything looks also totally revamped. So
The only thing is it's not coming out until 2010, and I was hoping you know this year would be it.
This holiday season.
You know, because I still haven't got a PS3, and this is the game for me. You know, like
This is gonna make you buy a PS3.
This is you know that next push where I'm like, all right, this is it. I finally got to. I mean, like God of War is one of my favorite games. You know.
Spooky. Kind of.
If you want to make an impact online,
Yo, GoDaddy.com. Man, you know.
Fast and easy website builders. Type for details.
I'll skip through that. I'm not sponsored by GoDaddy. I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're finally in here at the PSP booth, and we're gonna play some SoCal over here. Looks like you can't play against.
If anything, I won't be surprised if YouTube got mad at me for like keeping something like that in.
Can't do like there it is.
I got a chance to play this a little bit earlier.
Probably.
Because they always ask like, oh, is this endorsed? Is this sponsored content? And I'm always like, no. So if they have like someone else's video, it's like, yo, GoDaddy.com. They might not care about context. They might just get annoyed at me. Say like, well, sponsored content, but I didn't make money off of it. Sony or not Sony, YouTube. Like we don't care.
Doesn't
Video
matter.
in the dumpster
Someone
now.
did.
Someone did.
The buttons feel better. The analog stick feels better. The triggers feel way better. The sliding feels like really nice. It's like just super smooth. It's locked into place. I don't know. I think this thing has.
I'm surprised you never got a PSP
I actually
Go.
like the D-pad. You said it, David just a second ago said it felt squishy, but it feels kind of like.
I don't know. I
it's almost
just
like not being a button.
didn't
It's very, it doesn't have very
really
much
need
distance, it
another
doesn't travel very far,
PSP.
so
I was
it feels
happy
pretty
enough with
precise.
mine.
The buttons feel a little bit higher up there,
And
but
I
it's still pretty
mean,
darn good.
to be fair,
I
at
really
the
like
time,
the
it's not like I had
it
money
feels
to
much
buy
better
it
than the
myself.
old
I
one.
think
Oh, yeah.
at this time I just
And
gotten my
also
DS and stuff, so I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with what I got.
Understandable.
Definitely not as bad. I mean, you can only really tell after playing. Like, I want to go through God of War and like see how after the entire.
Because I think it's a decent system. It's a pretty good version of the system,
I think I would actually
but
play PSP more. You know, if I had one of these because it's so light and I would just carry it around in my pocket.
If
it
you
is
had to
nice
get
how small it is.
yeah, like if you had to get a new PSP, would you consider the Go? Or would you just get like a separate like other PSP?
I would probably just get a separate one just
So that one
because,
goes,
as
pretty
far
manly.
as I know, the PSP Go might only be digital downloads only.
Ah, okay.
So there's not really much point to having one, because I mean I do have some PSP games I could download onto it through my account, but not enough to justify buying a system that can't play regular UMDs.
But yeah, you do sneak around, it has stealth kills, and I like the escape mechanic, and at least the level that they have here, they have like these, you hit RB if you're near a gargoyle, you just automatically zipline to it, and that gets you out of trouble.
Guards from my side are a little dumb. I mean, they if you zip up to one of those, they're like, hey, where'd he go? Even you're just like 10 feet above them, so that's smart as a bunch.
Right,
Oh hey, where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
The combat I thought was pretty cool.
The guards did that all the time.
Like they have splinter style like stealth where you can sneak up by crouching up to a guy, hitting Y, and he's like, oh, and start strangling him.
Yeah, awesome. And then like if you knock somebody down, you can knock them out on the ground. You can take them out while they're on the ground.
Right.
Yeah, that stuff is pretty cool.
It's pretty fun. I don't know. It's a game that hasn't been featured too much.
That's probably one to look out for. But yeah, let's try to play some other shit. Like,
Ryan and Rob just ran off like little schoolgirls out there. Maybe we should go follow them.
I saw Blur in the background.
in the dark though, it's like
Yeah,
a little bit
good old Blur.
Okay, too dark, dude. What's the difference? Halfway. Yeah, that's great. Nice. I mean, it's just Squarespace. Remember, you can change the colors of the design.
Green, I like green.
Okay,
Green's my favorite one.
That's super cool.
Oh, sorry.
Or GoDaddy stuff. Oh, not Squarespace. They had Squarespace back in 2009?
Really? I thought
You
it
for
was
real?
like a mid-2010s when they first became a thing. That's when I remember hearing about them.
Maybe they just didn't have like YouTube sponsorship money back then.
Maybe.
Like that would be
Interesting.
my guess. That's okay. You know what? More history here. We got Squarespace. Maybe even the first Squarespace sponsor, for all we know. Right? That's crazy, actually.
You're a little dude and you want to get the star, and the game recognizes thousands, tens of thousands of nouns, and you can write whatever you
Hey,
want.
I mean, I doubt it is, but it'd be
star is
pretty
green,
damn
and
cool
we can
if
solve it
their
any way we want.
first
How about,
sponsorship was like
trampoline?
through E3 coverage like this.
Yeah, like through E3 coverage.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And on like I say, just a relatively small gaming journalism like
Let's try something more complex.
website, right?
Yeah.
How about like
Like relatively small compared to like the kind of YouTubers you see with sponsorships, you know?
Yeah.
Sure you can.
Nice.
Oh,
I sure can.
We need the ladder and the shuriken.
I would say the shuriken's not gonna help you there, bud.
Okay.
Alright, so, we could do a lion. We'll start easy. Right.
Yar, rar.
See what happens with a lion tamer. I don't actually know what will happen. He doesn't like the lion tamer, apparently.
Oh,
Matador.
well, I guess the lion tamer didn't do much.
Apparently not.
Nope.
Oh,
Dude, you have
and the Matador's getting beat up.
I don't know.
Cthulhu.
I remember this being kind of a big thing, is like you could summon Cthulhu.
Oh, it's better you do that.
That's pretty
that
funny.
was gonna kill it.
Someone died. Someone died. Nice.
Damn, Vampire won. Crazy.
Run away!
Vampire Hunter. Yo, it's Van Helsing.
You know what? I wonder if you type in Van Helsing if it would actually give you a Vampire Hunter too.
That'd be really funny.
Oh, I took Maxwell. Oh, man.
Well, sir, that is very impressive. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That is amazing.
Split second. It's by the development team that made You're right. Yep. Jeff Kanata and I were talking about it as far as like underrated games at E3, and he basically explained that you're driving these huge environments with all this sort of destructible set pieces that add this sort of obstacles to it of getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, kind of a weird variety of like racing games actually this year.
Yeah.
Because you had Split Second, Blur, All Stars Racing with Sonic. I don't quite remember what it's called. You have Gran Turismo. I don't know. You got quite a few racing games.
Didn't they also have like Forza Motorsport 3 or something?
Yes, I believe so.
Incredible. This could be like the new Burnout or Ridge Racer or something like that. It's up in the right direction. And this is something that wasn't on my radar at all. Okay, another thing I missed, first person. That's just me. I love playing in first person.
View is great though.
Yeah,
It's lower to the car. Here, the distance you are from it feels right, so you can see enough. So I'll forget it. But yeah,
Split second, try it.
What's wrong, Billy? No money for new games? We'll try Gameplay.
Okay, with
Gameplay is the
Gameplay.
So
Alright.
the case manual is free of charge.
Gameplay is dead now, right?
Yeah. Because
Rest
yeah,
in
you
peace.
could rent games on GameFly and they would mail it to you. That was kind of like their whole thing, and they kind of got beat out by companies like Netflix.
You know, at 2 times speed, I like how it just kind of sounds like one of those like kind of Latin pieces of music, right?
Yeah.
Like I kind of like that. Oh yeah, and the game had like this weird like tape mechanic, like videotape mechanic, where when you're
Yeah.
being chased, like it got all like tapey.
Dude, I wonder if it's the kind of thing
Huh.
where he's so scared,
That's
or
interesting.
scary enough that like I could come up to him and like totally startle him and make him have a heart attack.
Yeah, we'll have to track this one down sometime.
Yeah. I think that's actually an example, right? Like if you're going along here, and then if you look at like those dresses, I think for too long, the game counts it as like you looking at something sexy.
Ah.
So then that like puts points towards that. Like that's kind of an example of what I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
So these like little small things like that. Nothing.
Oh.
Stone faced, stone cold. Yeah. So okay. So they see. So they definitely do have some of the spectacle.
Pew pew pew. I like your guns.
I want to see this in like normal speed actually, because I think you can see the Bayonetta like costume dude like looking really just surprised. I kind of feel bad for her actually.
Yeah.
Like he kind of just like runs up. He's like pew pew pew, and she's like smile, and then she's like, "Is there a camera here?"
She's like, "What's going on here?"
She's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Okay, there's a camera." Yeah, I see. And then she's like, "Oh, all right."
They're really well made. Can I hold one?
I don't think.
Oh.
Oh wow, indeed. Please don't touch them.
I mean, I don't blame her. If like
I don't either.
she lets him hold it and he runs away with it, like she's probably on the hook with it.
I mean, probably.
There's this game here. It's like, it reminds me of something. I can't remember what it is. I think it might be Gears of War. Does this game remind you of Gears of War? Maybe it's, oh no, it's Tetris. It's just like Tetris.
No, dude, it's just like Excite Bike.
Oh, it's totally Excite Bike. It's just like, oh no, it's not the Hedgehog, look at the rings.
Yeah,
That's what it is. That's what I'm thinking. So I've been really looking forward to playing Bayonetta for the first time, and you've seen screenshots, and it's beautiful, obviously. You know, I was really just itching to get my hands on it, and I finally did today. What do you think? It's like Devil May Cry. It's exactly like Devil May Cry.
There you go. I will say, I think it is a lot more like Devil May Cry at the very least.
Yeah.
I will get her off of that. So yeah, I think that's the final one. Yeah, there's probably no need to do post your memories. They're probably just gonna be talking about stuff, which is cool. Area 5 seems like a cool company, actually. I don't know if they exist anymore. Granted, probably not. I feel like a lot of gaming journalism has since been condensed into like what IGN, Kotaku, and like GameSpot, I guess. But even then, I wouldn't say GameSpot is like a site people go to anymore. I guess Reddit, but like, you know, that's not really gaming journalism though.
Well, yeah, there's like a few smaller ones that exist. Like I know there's the whole thing that happened with the Escapists last year. I don't know how the
Mm,
site's doing since everything happened, but
probably not well. Yahtzee kind of held that thing up, man. To be
I
honest.
mean, he definitely did. But yeah, gaming journalism is not really as much of a thing anymore, aside from like game guides.
Yeah. Kind of dead now, to be honest. Yeah, all right. So overall, what would you say to that E3? Like the show floor?
I thought the show floor was pretty cool. Like we were talking about, it would have been nice if there was a bit more spectacle, but now that we got to walk through it more and kind of see more of the outside of the area, like it did seem like there was at least some developers still doing that. It was mostly the big guys that weren't really doing as much.
Yeah, right? Like that is really weird, to be honest with you, right? Like there is some stuff, but like I said, it wasn't really from the big companies. It was mostly from like the kind of smaller ones, right? That were kind of throwing out like these, like, oh, here's like an inflatable thing, here's like a statue, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like overall, like a decent looking show floor. Not terrible, but you can definitely tell they're going down, excuse me, down the route of like less fun, right?
Yeah.
Um, which once again, not bad, but just very like, you know, I can see what people mean by when they say the show floor starts getting kind of like boring after a bit.
Yeah.
Because we probably are gonna lose all of the fun statues and inflatables in like maybe the next few years.
Probably.
If we even get to like see the show floors anymore, right?
That's true.
Because who knows, this might be the last one. They're hard to come by now. But yeah, 2009 show floor. I'm glad we got to see another one. I'm glad we got to see another one. That made me really happy to see. And they were exactly like the show floors that I remember. Except no half pipes or wrestling or giant weird inflatable Donkey Kong statues and Spyro statues and Croc. I missed the Croc inflatable. So yeah, not bad though. Not bad. All right. So you think that should be it for now then?
Yeah, I think that's good.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We hope you all enjoyed. Please feel free to let us know what you all thought of the show floor or any games that came out in 2009. But for now, I guess it's time to cue the outro. So Frag out, and we shall catch you guys later.